Good morning from Akko, Acre. I'm here with a group, and one of them is the leader. He's Dr. Shlomo Lotan, and he actually knows everything about the Crusaders in Acre, in Akko. The tour will be about Acre, Akko, mostly in the Crusader time, 12th and mainly 13th century AD. What you can see here above, it's mostly the late 18th, 19th century, built by Dar el-Omar and Ahmed el-Jazar, and they built a city on top of the Crusader one. Then in that case, if you will go to the earlier period here, we are talking about, let's say, 2nd century BC, and suddenly 12, 13 AD, and above it, 18, 19, 20th century. Now let's go into it. It's a group of tour guides because we don't have tourists now in Israel because of the war, and I'm doing it for you. If you, I know that 69% of the people that are watching my videos are not part of my family, then please, I'm talking now to those 69%. Subscribe to my channel, be part of my family. You are the only option for me to exist now, the only reason. We entered to the hospitalar compound, but the 12th, let's say from 1890, actually no, 1814, there were so many crusaders here. A big group from Genoa, another big group from Venice, enemies to each other, peasant people, and the Hospitallers and the Templars, which are part of those crusaders. Look at the model that we built here lately, and you can see something very important. Let me go over here. A crusader fortress is usually built with a yard, but you must have water. Without water it cannot exist. And then they build their rooms around it, and it's kind of the wall. Then we are going to, oh, look at the kitty! Look at the kitty! Kitty on the model, Crusader cat. And we're going to visit that place as well. And later on, you can see even the Church of St Joan. And later on, this is already a Muslim place that we're going to visit it as well. But look at the kitty. Then, oh, what's happened to you?
I just finished my
breakfast. All right. But another thing, yes, dear kitty. But another thing that you can see that we excavated. That was the upper part, British prison, and later on we excavated until we found the yard that we are going to visit now. Then let's go to visit it because Shlomo Lotan just disappeared. I want to listen to everything. Although I know a lot about Acre, it's always good to visit the place where the doctor actually deals with it every day. Then we are going now to the yard itself. Welcome to the yard. And if you're talking about the water, that's the water, that's a kind of a well, water system and well. Look how beautiful it is. Then if you saw the model, this is the British prison, which before that was the Ottomans' prison as well. And then we destroyed the yard of them, and we reached the 13th century of the Crusader fortress, the Hospitallers. The rooms are all over, and here, for example, you can see that we didn't excavate yet. Why? We need money and people to do that, but there's a special system about how that place survived, and look at that. I mean, it looks it looks so amazing, and it survives because of the 18th century, 19th century Muslim Ottomans buildings. Then a little bit of history. In 1895, the Pope Urban II started to talk about how miserable is the Holy Land. The Holy Land is under control of the Muslims, and we must take it from them. Then we must free Jerusalem and the Holy Land. He started the great, huge movement of knights and simple people who actually wanted to free the world from Europe through Italy to Syria of today, on the way to Israel and Jerusalem. In 1896, they started their mission. In 1898, 2 years later, they reached Antiochia, and then they stayed there for 7 months. And then they said, we must continue, because we came for Jerusalem. From there, they reached Israel, the border of Israel. The border was in Beirut of today, and this is the main city of Israel, the first city of Israel that they actually reached. From Beirut, they went south, but it didn't stop at those cities because their mission was to reach Jerusalem. Then even in Akko, Acre, they actually didn't stop there. They continued all the way straight to Jerusalem. Then the Muslims here looked at the 40,000 crusaders passing next to them, but they didn't stop here. They actually said, well, first we are here for Jerusalem. Later on, we will reach back to Acre, to Akko, because it's a very important place. They didn't even occupy Caesarea, but then they reached to Jaffa. There, they said, we must occupy that place because this is the port, small port, but a very important port to Jerusalem. July 15, 1899, they occupied Jerusalem. Remember, that was the mission. All those cities next to the sea, like Acre, they didn't even touch it. First, let's establish in Jerusalem, they said, this is our mission, and then we will deal with the rest. The Crusader made a very important mistake. Every place that they occupied, they killed their citizens. Greek Orthodox, Christians, Muslims, and even Jews. This is a mistake because they lost the power of working. I mean, there were no one to work in the fields, in any other job. It took them a few years to reach back to Akko. That was in 1804. 1104. As you know, me and numbers are not so easy. The only problem is that the sea was open to the Muslims who lived here, and all the supplymen came from there because the Crusaders didn't know how to. They didn't came with any marine. Then they asked the Genoas from Italy of today to help them, and they came with 70 boats, and they it took them a few days, like 20 days, to make a siege around that until they occupied the city. The reason why Acre was so important is the port. That was the main port of Israel for so many years. And later on, you can understand, you will see that that they actually kept that place for more than 100 years, and that was even the capital of the Crusade here, because of the second Crusader time. They didn't. I mean, Jerusalem wasn't the capital of Israel. Acre, that place was the capital. Genoa, the people of Genoa didn't occupy the city or help Baldwin I to occupy it just because they loved him. They asked for so many things. First of all, a quarter in the city close to the port. The port actually belongs to the king, only to the king. But they said, we will be next to the port because, the next Crusader king maybe will forget about it and we will occupy the port itself. But they actually asked for more. For example, no tax. They are not going to pay tax when they're going to use the port of the king. And 1/3 of the agriculture area, and guys, it's huge place. It's most of the Galilee. Most of the Galilee was owned by Acre. Then it was a win-win situation to the king, to Baldwin I, and of course to the people of Genoa. But the people of Venice were even smarter, because when they helped to occupy the cities at Lebanon of today, they asked they actually not asked, they got 1/3 of every city at next to the sea, including Acre. Then in that case, the people of Venice were here together with the people of Genoa, and I don't know if you know, but they weren't good friends. I think one of the reasons that the city been destroyed by the Muslims later on is because of the hate between each other. They had war between themselves. The third city that arrived here was Pisan. Although they had no port next to them, they had at that time, at Crusader time, a kind of canal that took them straight to the port. Then in that case, it was controlled by the king, and he had the most important thing is the church, and then the way to the port, which belongs to him, and 3 cities from Italy control it too. Few monks movements came to it too. The first one is the hospitals, St Joan compound. At 1113, those monks became to be kind of a movement that accepted by the Pope. They were monks, listen carefully, took care of all the health of the people, hospitals, but they were warriors too. Monks, warriors, and doctors. Those are the hospitalars. The hospitalars came right away to Acre. Remember, it's the kind of the center of that kingdom. The Hospitallers weren't under control by the Crusaders who've been here. They being the only one who can judge them or tell them something was the Pope himself. Then you can understand the power that they had. And everyone who've been here used their facilities, pray in their church, pay money. And they became to be a very important and rich order. Look at the stairs here. That actually took you to the headquarters of the Hospitallers. And I think in the 7th century, there was we found a painting of a Dutch guy that actually described those those stairs, and let me take you to see it. It's difficult to see it from there. There's another option. Then stay with me. And you will see that there are 4 floors. Let me show it to you. It'll be easier for me too. Just a moment, please. You can see the stairs and 4 floors of the headquarters. When the Ottomans have been here, destroy a lot and cover those stairs, and we found it only in 1990. I mean, everything that you see here is mostly, I mean, it's old, but as you can see, we are still excavating Acre, and every time that you will travel with me, you will see different things or more options to visit. Today, when we are visiting Acre, it's usually that part. But the Crusader Acre, Akko, 40,000 people, was so big. The hospitals were here, and I wanted to see that new and rich, like the neighborhood, and the horses, the stables were there, and the way to reach the stables were through that gate. Where we are entering now, to the latrine hall. Those are the latrines, the toilets of the Crusaders, then of the Hospitallers. The knights sat here, but the headmaster, CEO of the Hospitallers, did it on the 2nd floor. You can see there. You can see that there's a kind of tunnels that the water from the sea used to clean everything. From there, back to the sea. The problem was that at the winter time it was easy, but at summertime it was difficult to clean that place. People actually that had been in Acre mentioned that it was so stinky here, not only because of it. Pollution, I mean, the dirt. The people actually cleaned themselves once in a few months, and that was a good thing, and a good situation. And in that case, people used to cover themselves with a mask against the horrible smell of Acre. The main language of the Hospitallers was French. Hello, French people. They wrote in Latin. But because they've been here for a long time, a lot of them spoke the local language, Arabic, because they had to deal with them. That was the business things. If you're talking about the typical stones, Crusader stones here, then first of all, sandstone, because this is an area of sandstone, and this is those are Crusader stones. You can see that they've got a lovely ending at like a frame, but the rest wasn't so nice. It looks like King Herod stones, but not so, because King Herod stones were beautiful. And here they didn't mind a lot about that. Another arch, which usually was pointed arch, and I think someone forgot his bottle, then let me bring the bottle to him. In 1960, they started to excavate that room, the columns hall, for example. And when I actually came to it for the first time, it was lower than that, because what the Muslims actually did, they decided not to destroy everything that you can see here. It's too difficult. Then they stuffed a lot of dirt into the holes, and they built a city on top of it. But when we came, what we had to do is to take all the dirt out, and so many trucks actually did it. And when we visited We used to visit that level that when I was here for the first time. Later on, they excavate here until the bedrock. In Israel, there were not more than 400 nights here, but every night had at least between 3 to 8 people who helped him. They're talking about big numbers. Gosh, it told us something so horrible. What actually happened to a knight that actually will fight for 2 or 3 days without any option to stop? He had diapers from cotton. Diapers for cotton. Oh gosh, I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be a knight. No, not at all. That is the dormitory room. That's where they slept here. On very simple beds, some very simple mattresses, and above them, the knights themselves actually slept in a better luxury. Knights couldn't be married. But there were a lot of women in that area. And men needs. What? Some of the knights were rich, even 90. A lot of them actually died, but it's unbelievable to reach 90 when you are a knight. In those halls, you can see a lot of details, not only connected to the Crusaders. For example, this is from the Mamluk period. Beautiful, isn't it? Now we can see light here, then you can see everything, but when they build it with small, narrow windows because they were afraid that someone will occupy them. That brought a little bit of light here, and I'm going to show you one or two right there. For example, when I was young and my father took me to here, I entered through that window. For me, that was a door, but now we can see that it was window. Then the ground floor was at the bottom of the window, which I believe it was a door at that time. From here, let's go to the Grand Manoir, to the main hall of the Hospitallers compound. This is the Grand Manoir. Look how beautiful it is. And if you remember at the beginning of the video, I told you that when they excavate beneath it and they wanted to know what is happening down there, they found the Hellenistic city of Akko. And let me show it to you. Telemaos, that's the name of the city at that time. There are 15 columns. You can see that they actually renovate and took care of those places, mainly because actually part of it collapsed. The entrance, when I was a child, was through a tunnel that goes all the way there. And as you can see here, this is cement. This is a replica. If you want to see a little bit of the real thing, is right in front of you. The shops here was a very good idea of that place to let the people of Acco to sell the things that they are selling, making, like soap, glass, so many other things. But the city hall asked for tax. They had no option for that, and now it's actually closed. And because of the war, it's totally closed. There's not even one shop here. We are entering now to the prison hall from here. Then let's continue. Welcome to the prison. Before we will continue, let me ask you again to subscribe my channel, and if you want to support my channel, you can do that via few options. The first one is to send the link of my channel to all of your friends and ask them to subscribe to my channel. The second thing is beneath you can see the super thanks. You can actually do that through me. It's via YouTube. At the description, the text beneath the video, you will find two more options. One of them is PayPal and the other one is Buy Me Coffee. Through those two links, you can actually support my channel. As you remember, you are the only income of mine for the last 5 months and for the next year. Look at that the place. This is the guard rooms. The prisoners were here, and he's sure that it was here because it was speculation. It looks like, but we didn't know if it was used as a prison. But as you can understand, as he believed that that was the room. The prisoners had no rights at all. And you can see some holes, and they were tied with chains. Into here I can see more of it. They suffered a lot, and the doctor actually mentioned that it's difficult to talk about it because we know that more than 100 civilians are in capture by Hamas, ISIS now in Gaza, and it's so difficult for us to talk about their way of living because they have no way of living, and as we believe, the women are being raped almost every night. No food, no sanitations. So sad. It's more than 100 days that they are in. They are in prison. They've been kidnapped. A lot of them, and a lot of their families been died. A lot of their friends been killed by ISIS, Hamas, Gaza. We just left the dungeon, and you can see kind of a market. But what is important to see that you are walking on top of a street from 13th century. The wooden thing is, as you can understand, from 2000, built by the Israelis. We're now entering to the beautiful hall. And it's a beautiful hall. If you remember Etty, oh yeah, you saw it at the beginning of the video. Some believe that it was kind of a reception, the entering area to the protest, but let's face it, no one knows. And this is one of the problems, because the Crusader left us a lot of information. They took it with them when they actually been defeated by the Muslims. But still, they didn't talk about what was the reason for building each room here. We just went from the compound. You see the beautiful hall is here. This is already outside the compound. And after the compound, you could find two more things. The church and the hospital. Then you can see the street itself, and there's a lot of graffiti here. You can see some of the examples of the graffiti that used to be here. The Crusader, the knights, didn't want to walk here when they actually reached their church from the fortress to the church. Then here you can see kind of a bridge. Went all the way there, and the Crusaders went into the church that we are going to visit soon. Actually, we're not going to visit the church, we're going to visit the lower part of it, because the church itself has been destroyed. Now, let's go to the crypt of the church. I can see that it's a junction between two streets. That one. And the other one we just came from. And we are heading to the crypt. Look at the burial procession. The reason that we are talking about it because we found not in situ, but we found here two tombstones. One of head master of the Hospitallers, and the other one of the Nazareth as well. Most of the tombs were next to the walls, and a lot of people paid for the Hospitallers a lot of money, kind of donation, because they wanted to be buried in the Holy Land, and a lot of them been buried here. We didn't find all of them, but we do have description of people who pay a lot of money because they wanted the Hospitallers will pray for them every year, not only at their burial date. As you know, a lot of the Christians wanted to be buried next to the house of God, next to the church, and this is St Joan Church of the Crusader St John, John the Baptist. We know that John the Baptist is the patron of the sick people. To be Baptist is to be buried and to die and to be born again for Jesus. I wanted to see two tombstones that we found here. I talked about it, but I couldn't show it to you. This is one of them. And it's the master of the Hospitallers, and he died in 2042. But remember, a lot of people have been buried here, and they weren't part of the Hospitallers. For example, here, you can see the legs of William. They died in 1290. He was, I think, the Bishop of Nazareth. And he died here a year before the city being destroyed by the Mamluks in 2091. There were 40 churches in that small place, and people came as pilgrims, and they had to visit most of them, and then they used to pray and to leave some money, if you can understand what I mean. That is a very important income. I accept it. Then this is how the church looks like. It's not a problem to understand it because people mentioned that place, and it was very easy to build churches. At that time, it was kind of a one way, or only few options. But I want you to see where we are. Now, first, you will see the map. If we will see the map, all right. This is the church, the Hospitaller, and we came from the domus. Remember the fortress, and we are somewhere at the crypt. The entrance was from there, facing to the east, of course. And you can see the archers, and the main gate of the church that you will see soon was taken by the Mamluks who occupied that city, and now it's in Cairo. Then let's build a church that is not with us anymore. Okay, here it is. The monks that look more like Franciscans and not Hospitallers. The Hospitallers had black robe and a white cross, and this is the beautiful gate that was taken as it is to Egypt. Now, let's go out of the crypt, because I'm alone and I'm not afraid to be here. Oh, they disappeared. I know where they went. They are going to the refectum, to the dining room, which is the most important place here, the most beautiful place here. And it is the last hall that was built here in the 13th century. Remember, we actually walked through that street. Beside the graffiti that you saw, there was a sugar factory. A sugar factory was best medicine at ancient time, and Hospitallers deals with it. When you are eating sugar, you can feel better. And that's why I gained 17 or 20 kilos more, and now I'm trying to lose it. It was such an important business here that they actually exported to Europe. A little bit of sugar, a little bit of sugar, 1 spoon of sugar, la 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 la. Sugar was the gold of that time. They gave it to the sick people to feel better. And sugar wasn't only the gold thing. We found a lot of tombs of people that were almost just like me. They couldn't live without sugar, and they found a lot of tombs. A lot of them were children with horrible teeth because of using sugar, or too much sugar. Then I was waiting for them to go, and we are walking together with in the street itself, 13th century, my dears. And remember, beneath the streets, there were so many hidden tunnels. For example, remember the garbage or the sewage, but not only. In wartime, they had to run away or to move from one place to another without the enemy see them. And you will see we will be above one of those tunnels, and you can actually walk through it if you're not afraid of small places, narrow places. Again, I'm not sure that the camera was working. Then let me show you that the city was full with hidden tunnels to run away, to move from one place to another, sewage canals, and you saw part of it. And you can actually walk through one of those sewage canals, but don't worry, it smells perfectly beautiful. Then let's enter to the dining room. Are you ready? 4, 3, 2, 1, and ta-da! Ta-da! Remember, that was the yard, the main yard that we started the tour from. The regula was different than others, and because there were doctors that deals with sick people, not only warriors. Then they actually ate better than others. This is the only evidence that actually left as it is in that area. I mean, we're talking about the kitchen. It's a Romanesque and a Gothic architecture style. It might be that this is the first evidence for the Gothic style, and it was here in Acre, Akko, Israel. The headmaster, the chief, was dealing with the food and the diet as well. There was a lot of dry meat here, a lot of fish, pork, oil, wheat, wine, of course. The sick people were the first one to get food. Wow, this is good. More important than their stuff. Fresh meat 3 times a week. White bread. This is a luxury at the time. On Friday they used to eat fish. The rest of the week 3 times a week. Lots of meat, vegetables and drinks. They had to wait at the table until the end of the meal. They were supposed to be quiet. They ate at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. They couldn't leave the table until they finished. I mean, everyone finished to eat. If someone have to be punished, one of the punishment, or the most important punishment, was to sit outside the dining room, and they got the leftovers of the food. For example, there's a nice. Let me see if you can see something for it. I love that video.
מלך צרפת לואי השביעי יוצא מדרום צרפת יחד עם אשתו אלינור מהקוויטניה. אלינור מהקוויטניה, בורדו של ימינו, כל החלקים הדרום-מזרחיים של צרפת, הייתה אישה מאוד מאוד עשירה. הם מגיעים אל המזרח, אל המדינה.
Look how massive are the columns. Because above it, if you remember the stairs that we saw at the beginning of the video, which is a long one as you can see, the chairman was there. Then remember, above us there were another 4 stories of a building. Didin. Then if you will go downstairs through the tunnel, you can see that even the base of the columns were huge. I mean, much bigger than those. I'll show you the floor, which is a wonderful symbol here. Right. For the lace, it was maybe only just for decoration, but it is a symbol of the royal French family. But what we know is that the Germans use it as well. But it's still beautiful, because no one knows exactly if why they decorated it with it. There were, as we believe, 4 fleur-de-lis. The corners, only 2 of them actually are still here. And here we are back at the yard that we started the tour from. I'm sure that you already knows it. The tunnel that it looks like we are not going to use it is from there. Then that was a long but important video of the hospitals in Akko, Acre. And thank you for being with me. See you in my next video. Bye bye.